Hello, beautiful people. Carl here from Games, Brains and Headbanging Life, gbhblofficial.com for short, and checking out some more Bloodstock bands. Looking at LN, a band we mentioned and talked about in the preview, the big preview video. Seems like they're an intriguing band and something a little bit different on the New Blood stage over the weekend. There's a couple of bands that kind of deal in folk, the sort of pagan metal side of things. A couple might actually be only be two, LN and Thuno Wolf. But this is a band I want to check out based off that. It's an intriguing idea, and it's always exciting to sort of see this sort of thing, a five-piece band that deal in pagan and Viking metal. Then that's not a unique thing anymore in the metal world, of course, but when it's good, it's really, really good. Uh, I wouldn't necessarily say it's my favorite genre or style. I certainly enjoy a lot of the music that comes from bands like this, but sometimes it can be a bit one note and familiar. This band is described as like it's wild. Like so for fans of Amon, okay, Arch Enemy, okay, Ghost, which Ghost? Ghost now or Ghost of like 5 years ago, 10 years ago? High Lung, okay, it makes sense being like a kind of pagan Viking metal thing, and Nightwish. And it's like, whoa, that is a range, right? You can kind of see the thinking behind it. But that's a range, and that's intriguing because, like, if you imagine all those bands thrown into a pot and then blend mixed up, and this is apparently what we get here, that's cool, right? It looks like, based off the video we're about to watch, Mothers, that there might be a bit of theatricalness to them as well. Some good comments and things like that. This is Mothers from about a year ago. Yeah, premiered May last year, actually. It's an official video, so it's the one I want to do. I think there's been a more recent track. But that's a lyric video, and I kind of want to do the actual video here. So we're going to check it out. I am intrigued. I wouldn't necessarily so excited, but I do think there could be something special here, particularly from like a professional kind of aspect. Not to say that bands and New Blood aren't all of them professional, but the levels in it. You do notice some levels. So let's check out LN's Mothers. Cool. All right.
Have you ever seen the sun rise up from the west and devour souls in its stride? Have you ever seen a bird dive from a height and drown in the river running wild? Have you
I like it so far.
seen the snow fig and colored red from the ones who brought you back to life?
I think it might go with that beat goes on too long to keep that clapping up on Bloodstock. But I can kind of vibe and feel it, right?
The haunting moon spreading like vermin in
Cool
the
lyrics.
night.
No witches. Hmm. Oh. Interesting. I'd be interested to maybe try a different track out for them as well. I'm glad it powered up because there was a point where I was thinking, oh, is it just this for like nearly 5 minutes? That's quite a lengthy track for what it was doing, particularly, that rhythmic beat and kind of melody wasn't really shifting. And the vocals and the lyrics, well, the vocals are very listenable and that helped. And then having the lyrics being able to understand the lyrics and they're very, very cool was at least, keeping my attention there. But when it powered up, I was like, okay, it kind of came to life then for me. And although there wasn't anything like, it didn't like go crazy then outside of the solo in the guitar, it was still a nice shift to show there's a little bit more to this band than just, like folkish kind of melody and pagan-esque, melodies. I sort of see it had a bit of an old school metal sound going on there as well, particularly with the guitar soloing, but it was cool, particularly with the vocals constantly crooning over it too. And you still had that similar beat using that. I don't know what that instrument's called, the one being banged on there, whatever it is. I know it's just a form of a drum, but obviously it's quite synonymous with a certain style of music. And I guess that's where things like the Highland connections come from, as much from the visual aspects as well as the sort of elements using instruments like that. And I imagine there are other songs that probably display other aspects too. But yeah, I kind of get some of the descriptions now. I mean, from that, I don't really get the Amon Amarth kind of side of things or Arch Enemy because like that song wasn't particularly heavy, but presumably they will probably have some heavier music elsewhere. That's by the by. That's not what I'm reviewing. I'm reviewing this particular track, and I found that quite captivating overall. I was quite enthralled by it, particularly from a visual perspective as well. I'm really intrigued. Love the idea that perhaps they might be a bit more theatrics, a bit more show with this kind of band as much as anything else, because it's you can kind of like lean into the spiritual aspects of it and the folky kind of side of things and make it feel like that's a very real thing. But sometimes as well, I kind of want a bit of theatrics to go with that. So the idea that just based off like, how they look, that might be the case. That could be cool. Obviously limited to what you can do on the New Blood stage in 30 minutes, but it'd be interesting to see if they've got, like if they, like, how they're going to get people's attentions beyond the music, But regardless, based on that one track, I think that's the sort of thing that might draw a few heads in. If you're sort of hanging around outside and you start hearing that voice singing and that sort of like instrumental beat, you might be encouraged to kind of come in and see what's going on here, and then you end up staying. I think 30 minutes just music would be really, really cool. I kind of am hoping that there's an opportunity to at least check out some of them when we're there. Obviously, time, busyness, who knows? But considering the Friday and at least on the stage list, placed higher up, there's a lot of hope because we don't normally interview that late in the evening. So fingers crossed there's a real strong opportunity there to kind of check them out and have some fun with them. I feel like that. I feel like a couple of others in our group will be really up for this as well. We shall see. I like Mothers. I'd like to see a bit more from LN. And we can all do that at Bloodstock on the Friday. What do you reckon? Let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. It does help us out. You can find us at gbhbl.com and across all social media platforms. And if you really want to give us a bit of extra support, please consider buying us a cup of coffee over on our coffee page. Thank you.